Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining me today with, I believe this is episode 5 of Mark of the Beast and the Image of the Antichrist of our End of an Epoch series. Let's get into it with a word of prayer and a word of the Word. Luke 21:25 through 36. There will be signs in sun and moon and stars, and on the earth dismay among the nations, in perplexity at the roaring of the sea and the waves, men fainting from fear in the expectation of things which are coming upon the world. For the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. But when these things begin to take place, straighten up and lift up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. Then he told them a parable. Behold the fig tree and all the trees. As soon as they put forth leaves, you see it and know for yourselves that summer is now near. So you also, when you see these things happening, recognize the kingdom of God is near. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. Be on guard, so that your hearts will not be weighted down with dispensation and drunkenness and the worries of life. That day will not come on you suddenly like a trap, for it will come upon all those who dwell on the face of the earth. But keep on alert at all times, praying that you would have strength to escape all these things that are about to take place and to stand before the Son of Man. So, just going back to, talked about the mark of the beast in the hand, mark of the beast in the head, about the CBD system, paired with the blockchain and Neuralink, how all those characteristics match up perfectly with Revelations 13:16 through 17, which talks about the mark of the beast and the image of, or in the mark of the beast and the number of its name, and how it most perfectly and most accurately fits that description. And there's been no other time in our history which that has happened. So, just reading the articles here. Vaccines are now being used to harvest biometric identities of everybody. Big Brother merges with Big Pharma. Leverage immunization as a means of inserting tiny microchips into people's bodies in collaboration with the Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization, also known as GAV. The government of Bangladesh and various others partners in government, academia, and humanitarian relief. The ID 2020 Alliance hopes to usher in the mark of the beast as a way to keep tabs on every human being living on. And the next article going down, all of this is priming the public for an eventual mandate of microchip vaccinations, which will be required for every individual in order to buy and sell goods. Crowd Hurley openly admitted this in stating that the digital identity system will be necessary for individuals' access to services and livelihood. Plain and simple, plain as day. You get the chip, you get the mark, or you don't get to fit in society. You don't get to receive any goods. It echoes all the other statements. The video above, I'll play for you.
A little bit about the study that just came out of Sweden that is just so alarming.
The news is buzzing out of Lund University, Malmö, Sweden. Marcus Alden is the first author. The first demonstration in a human hepatic or liver cell line that the Pfizer vaccine, in fact, reverse transcribes and installs DNA into the human genome.
Wow. And so, in simple terms, what does that mean, Dr. Bartlett?
Thank you for making it simple. So, basically, there's an enzyme that can take that messenger RNA vaccine information and put it into the DNA of the person, into their DNA. And we were told that could not happen. So this is in a lab, but it's showing that you remember the vaccine is messenger RNA.
Yeah.
And we were told that messenger RNA could not go into your DNA, but this is showing that in a lab it can.
And so what happens when it does, Dr. Cole?
Well, can I answer slightly different than your question?
Yeah.
So one of the fun things about the last couple of years being a doctor and lawyer is this is a very interesting opportunity, and I think we're going to be bringing another lawsuit because there's actually federal law that you cannot discriminate against people for genetic discriminations. I forgot the acronym. I think it's GINA, G-I-N-A. GINA, right? So this now opens the door to saying that if you're not allowing somebody in who chose not to get the shot, that you're actually engaging in genetic discrimination. So I think this Sweden study, I think, opens the door to a new type of lawsuit.
If you're pregnant and you have this done, can that then affect your baby?
Yes, this is the alarming finding. The CDC says on its website very explicitly, this will not change your DNA. The paper that came out of Sweden. Now, there'll be many more to confirm it, and the steps are to confirm it, to confirm that the entire code is installed, and then to actually confirm that it's expressed, meaning that the spike protein now is continuously expressed from human cells. But because the lipid nanoparticles are taken up everywhere, that means somatic cells in your organs, but also your gametocytes, actually the cells that actually are the sperm and the egg. If they are carrying it, that indeed means that, in fact, it could be passed to the daughter cells.
So that could be open up for birth defects and
yes.
So as stated below, when the mRNA went into the liver, it was then changed into DNA. People were lied to, and it can transfer to your children. So what does that mean for you? The cDNA claims that the court held that were another matter because cDNA is reverse engineered by scientists from mRNA to include only the protein coding exons. It is different from any naturally occurring genetic material, thus falls on the invention side of the line between mandatory and invention, or between discovery and invention. Simply put, things that are found in nature, that are naturally occurring in nature, cannot have a patent, cannot be owned by any person, individual, or corporation. But things that were found in nature, that are manipulated, that are changed, can have a patent because that is not naturally occurring, it is not found in nature, it is not organic. So when the mRNA changed to DNA, it was a different type of DNA, and thus the mRNA and the new type of DNA are both patentable products that replicate within inside your body and pass down to your children. So that markets people as a product which is a patented and owned by a corporation. So legally speaking, people that have had that can be, the wording of the law is that the government sees you as a byproduct of a corporation, that you can possibly be legally owned. And mandatory vaccinations, which they've talked about, which right above here, the 2020 agenda, mandatory vaccinations are not about health but control. This violates your freedom of choice, your right to informed consent, and your right to refuse. This violates your human rights, whether it is mandatory vaccines or digital ID. Mandatory vaccines, as we've seen with COVID, but also in the mRNA foods, which RFK has been fighting against, but he's also in support of wearables, which is all a part of this whole system as well. It's part of WHO, that they, even though on the one hand both Trump and RFK have denounced and have fought against, they also set up different systems that are in line with the WHO's agenda. Please look at my previous videos on One World Government and the previous episodes through the Mark of the Beast and the Image. But I'm going to move on to this video here.
If you get time, watch this.
We're undergoing a soft coup, and the idea is to create a whole new set of laws and ignore the existing human rights laws and other laws under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. The WHO is developing through all its nations, but with the WHO Directorate and the United States in charge, a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations that will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative. Also, we will be subject, if they can make this work, to vaccines developed in 100 days.
So, with the ID 2020, with the vaccination movement, with the transhumanism agenda, all this is culminating and coming together to subvert the natural laws and the laws that are in place for human rights. And that's all around the world. Doesn't matter what country you're in. That's the goal, that's the play, that's the agenda. So in the next episode, we will go through the consequences of getting and not getting and going through that and how it scripturally fits. But for now, I do thank you for